quiet country in 1945. I was here as a war correspondent when the Americans came over to accept the surrender of Jap troops below the 38th parallel. I remembered how restful the green rice paddies looked. The peaceful villages and towns like Taejong. It didn't amount to much like any small town anywhere, but it was home to these people. Seoul was different. It was a big town, the capital city, with 1.5 million people. And they were all gay. Seoul was celebrating freedom after 40 years of Jap rule, of Russian interference under the Tsars, and centuries of Chinese domination. It was gay for these Americans, too. Every GI was a symbol of liberation to the natives. I learned something about Koreans. I learned that these people, so remote from us, strange even to their fellow Asiatics, were simple human beings who wanted to live in peace and independence. They took me around their colorful 500-year-old city, showed me the buildings they were proud of, the Capitol, the Fine Arts Museum, Cheongdok Palace, Deok-su, the Chosen Bank building. It was a city of scenes, an oriental blend of the ancient and modern. I remembered it all when I came back to Korea 5 years later, again as a war correspondent, again with American and other United Nations troops bringing liberation. I was glad I remembered because so much of it was gone. The towns, the public buildings, the people destroyed by war. This time the liberation had to be fought for, bitterly, heartbreakingly. This time there was no celebration and no gaiety. Tanks, not floats, paraded in the streets. And the air was filled with bullets, not confetti. For months, death and destruction ran amok in Korea. War is a wanton destroyer of property and lives. This shattered body, this burning hut, are tragic symbols of the havoc war creates. Even men of goodwill must fight fire with fire, must kill and destroy to bring a swift end to death and destruction. Our soldiers learned early, however, that in this battle there were terror and savagery. These were their comrades in arms, prisoners of the communists, shot with their hands tied behind their backs near Wegwan. This was Taejong, when our counterattacking forces breaking out of their Pusan bridgehead retook the town, what there was of it. Taejong was razed, leveled, for Manila or Warsaw. These men, women, and children were not killed accidentally in the heat of battle. They were murdered, cold-bloodedly, deliberately. Butchered to spread terror, to warn the survivors that if you didn't let the communist monster swallow you alive, he'd rather have you dead. The horror of Taejong was only a pale reflection of Seoul, where a great city, the heart of a nation, was ravaged. Brilliant leadership and the hammer blows of a great fighting team, the Navy, Air Force, Army, and Marines, working with
with other United Nations forces,
had snapped the spine of the North Korean aggressor. The enemy was paralyzed. But communist fanaticism was determined that if it must perish, it would destroy what it could. Devouring these brave men. Slaughtering the innocent. Ruining, wrecking, laying waste. The public buildings that served as the nerve center of this capital city were gutted shells scooped out by fire and explosion. The factories became funeral pyres of this poverty-stricken people's hard-won hopes for economic betterment. These ashes were our receipt for the hundreds of millions of dollars, the years of patient teaching of industrial techniques we had lavished here. But Seoul was not unique, any more than Daejeon. Our troops advancing from north and south found that only the place names were different. At Wonju, Cheongju, Mokpo, Sucheon, Yangpyeong, burning farms, shattered homes, blasted shops, and everywhere lay the murdered dead. The scenery of destruction is monotonous. Atrocity stories keep repeating themselves. How can I tell you? What can I show you of the 10,000 human beings slaughtered in Seoul? Perhaps it isn't exactly 10,000. Perhaps the total figure right now is approximate, if that makes any difference. In time, we'll get a careful tabulation. We'll learn the exact number of the slaughtered, down to the last corpse. Of course, some atrocities will not be counted at all, because they were perpetrated on the living. Atrocities of the spirit. The heartbreak. The shattered families. The broken lives. All the dead, however, will be certified by the United Nations Commission on Korea. Each case will be thoroughly documented. The doubters and the cynics, the hard-boiled sophisticates who scoffed at the stories of Dachau and Buchenwald and called it propaganda will be able to check the record, if they wish. The slayers of our soldier dead, 1 out of every 20 Americans were killed as prisoners of war, will be remorselessly tracked down wherever possible and brought to judgment. But what of the greatest atrocity of all, the instigation of this wanton war? What of the cynical murderers who ordered it? What penalty for them? This need never have been. These honored dead need never have sacrificed their lives for American honor and good faith. These cities, these homes need never have been destroyed. These primitive North Koreans, these misguided fools need never have been led to the slaughter. Their minds and emotions set ablaze by false promises and giant lies, perverted by those who would make all mankind their dupes in their lust for world control. This communist imperialism is the real criminal. Its crime in Korea was a mistake, a costly one. Not for them, for us. We paid, and the people of Korea paid. because we refuse to see the criminal threat. Boldness, skill, and fighting heart defeated the threat in Korea. But the criminal is still at large, its appetite for aggression unappeased. There must not be other Koreas in other lands. There will not be as long as we remain vigilant and strong. Not only these men, but all of us, the civilian, the citizen, the worker, and taxpayer.
The cost will not be small. Liberty is never cheap. The price we pay will be bargain insurance, however, if it prevents more of this. Let us not forget this, for our sake as well as for the rest of the world's. If we value our lives, our homes, and our freedom, let us remember the crime of Korea.
My name is Eric Johnston. I have seen the crime of Korea. I don't like, and I don't imagine that you like, what you saw and heard and thought. None of us likes war or the terrible horrors and disaster that war brings. When I saw them, I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that counted, that helped, and I wanted to do it now. I suppose that's a natural reaction for any American. When we Americans see something we don't like, something we believe is wrong, something we consider a crime against mankind, we want to act. We want to put a stop to what's wrong. That's the kind of people we are. Our fighting men, your fighting men in Korea, have been doing this part for many months, for so many long months. But what about the rest of us? The fighting aggression and the threat of aggression isn't a job just for our soldiers, our sailors, our Marines, and our airmen. It's our job, too, because our security, our freedom, and our lives depend upon this nation's ability to meet aggression wherever it may strike. Our ability to halt aggression anywhere, here perhaps, will depend on how rapidly, how effectively we rearm and become strong again. We must be ready for it at any moment. We can't all work in defense plants. We can't all build guns and planes and ships and tanks, nor can very many of us serve in the armed forces. But we all can take a part in the national defense program. All of us can and all of us must share the responsibility for making and keeping this country strong. A vital part of our strength is the strength of our economy, the strength and the power and the dollars we earn and spend and save. Each of us can share in two jobs, paying as we go for our arsenal of defense and building as we go the strength of our dollars. By buying defense bonds, not just one, but as many as we can, by signing on the payroll savings plan, and by doing it now, right now. After I saw the film you have just seen, a film that shows exactly what is taking place in Korea, a film that could be typical of other communist aggressions anywhere, anytime, I was glad that I could buy defense bonds, and in that way help to fight communist aggression. Fighting with bonds today can help prevent crimes like the crime of Korea from taking place elsewhere and even here tomorrow. You can fight for your future today by joining America's Defense Bond Army.